Hello, this is Martin Mangold, and this is a discussion of a stained glass window that I call Keep Thy Shop. It is a tribute to Benjamin Franklin, and like many such artworks, such as this piece from the 19th century, it centers on a collection of quotes from Poor Richard's Almanack and other Franklin writings. The title of the work comes from this proverb on the outside: keep thy shop, and thy shop will keep thee. This illustration in the lower right is the widow of Franklin's partner in the printing business in Charleston, South Carolina. And she was able to keep her shop because she knew bookkeeping from her childhood, and was able to keep the shop, the printing business going and in her own ownership until she was able to pass it on to her children. Franklin thought that was wonderful. The opposite corner is dedicated to Franklin's grandfather, Thomas Franklin, back in England, who was a blacksmith. I fancy that little person looking over his shoulder is Benjamin himself, thinking about his grandfather across the generations. From Thomas's anvil comes the next proverb: when you're an anvil, hold you still. When you're a hammer, strike your fill. This text, by the way, is a digitization of Franklin's own Caslon printing font, as are many of these little doodads. They were digitized for Franklin's 300th birthday. The first part of that, when you're an anvil, hold you still, tells us to, if you have a humble job, do it. And don't be afraid of a little bit of work. This image down here is Benjamin himself, owner of a printing business, carting cartloads of paper through the streets of Philadelphia from the ship, which was not coincidentally Franklin's way of letting people know that he was not too big for his business and was in fact a working man. This is Franklin. This main image here is Franklin, the working printer, at his press. And above that is my favorite word from Franklin's autobiography, in the phrase, "I went on swimmingly." That's how Franklin described what we now call good business momentum. This business momentum carried Franklin through to his later life, when and this is where the phrase, when you're a hammer, strike your fill. What it means, when you have power, don't be afraid to use it. This is Benjamin as our minister to the court of King Louis XVI in France, who had a printing press assembled so that he could amuse himself by continuing his former trade as a printer. From this, we get a Poor Richard proverb: old boys have their playthings as well as young ones. The difference is only in the price. That's not only my tribute to Franklin printing late in his life, it's me as a stained glass artist. This image up here is another relaxing adult. That's Franklin's father, Josiah, skilled a little in music, playing the violin and singing along when the business of the day is done at night. And that's the young Benjamin Franklin himself, listening from behind him. These images are from an 1849 edition of Franklin's Autobiography. Speaking of music, this yellow swoop here was a late addition to the design, inspired by the music of Charles Mingus. To me, it represents the life force surging through Benjamin Franklin's own historical time. The grid that it's on top of is from the Folger Library. That leaves us with the credits down here. There's B. Franklin, that's how he signed his name. And J.G. Chapman, the artist behind the, there we go. B. Franklin, thank you. J.G. Chapman, the artist of the images. And I get this corner over here as the maker of the window, M.C. Mangold 2022. So that is the window, keep thy shop. Thank you very much for listening.